All right, now it's time to read a scale. This is the one that you really have to get used to because you've probably never read a scale before. But anyway, the scale is divided up into, it's actually triangular, if you can see that. See, it's a triangular scale. It's got many different scaled rulers on it. Okay, what this does, let's say right here where we have 1/2 inch, this is telling me that this scale is on 1/2 inch, which means every 1/2 inch is 1 foot or equal to 1 foot. So basically, this is your 12-inch ruler in 1/2 inch scale. From here to here is 1 foot. Okay, now from here to the next number is 2. The next actual written number is 2, so that is 2 feet. But you can, of course, use the opposing scale to help you mark out your 1 foot. So this is 0, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet, and 4 feet. Okay. Over on the other side of this scale, we're actually on the 1-inch scale. That was a little bit easier to think about because every 1 inch equals a foot. Now this is the longer lines right here. You see how these are longer lines? These are shorter lines. Well, these longer lines, of course, match the longer lines here on the 1-inch scale. So I know that each one of these numbers that is listed below that longer line belong to that 1-inch scale. Just like over here on the 1/2 inch scale, these lines are a bit shorter. So I know that these shorter lines, like it's on this 2 here, actually associate with the 1/2 inch scale. But of course, again, like I said, they lay these out in such a way that you can use marks from both sides to indicate, your distance. You just have to read them, I guess, backwards. So from here to here, like I said before, that's 1 foot, not 10 feet. Now from here, from that 0 to that 10, that is 10 feet in 1-inch scale. All right. Now, if I'm drawing with a scale, I have to think about accuracy and how tight or how close I can get. What is my tolerance here? Typically, in 1/2 inch scale, you're going to get down, in most any scale, get down to about 3 inches of accuracy. You can get a little bit closer than that if you look really hard, but typically in architecture, when you're using a scale, then we're talking somewhere around 3 inches of accuracy, unless we're making bigger drawings, okay? But in the 1/2 inch scale, let's say I wanted to draw a line that was 3 feet. Well, from here to here is 3 feet. That represents 3 feet in 1/2 inch scale. Now, what if I had to draw that line 3 feet 3 inches? If I look at the 12-inch ruler portion of the 1/2 inch scale, each one of these longer lines basically divides that foot into quarters. So just like the ruler, this would be 1/4 of a foot, 1/2 a foot, and 3/4 of a foot. But we don't really say that. We don't write it that way. If I need to make this, let's say, 3 feet 3 inches, this longer line is going to be one of those 3-inch marks. That's what helps divide this into quarters. Okay, so I'm going to draw it to here. Now that's going to be 3 foot 3 inches. If I drew it to the half mark right there, then that would be 3 foot 6 inches. I can get a little bit more accurate, especially on the 1/2 inch scales. I got a little more space to work with. But let's say it's 3 feet 7 inches instead of 6 inches. I probably wouldn't be able to get it pinpoint accuracy, but I would draw it just a little bit further than the 6-inch mark and get as close as I could to 7, and that would be accurate enough when you're drawing like this. Okay, now let's look at the 1/4 inch scale. The 1/4 inch scale is a scale you're going to probably use most often. Let's turn it this way. Okay, so 1/4 inch scale, the same exact thing, but you can see how the subdivisions aren't as many as we saw on the 1/2 inch scale. On the 1/4 inch scale, it's like every little tick mark is 1 inch. Okay, And again, these longer tick marks represent, 3-inch increments. They help divide this 12 inches into 4 parts. Okay, so again, 0 feet, and this is 2, or see, I think, yeah, this is 2 feet. And we know that those associate because of the lengths of their lines, and also it just makes sense that when you start over here at 0, that your next number should be 2, not 92. All right, so from here to here is actually 1 foot. There's 1 foot in 1/4 inch scale, and then a little bit further is 2 feet. On up here, there's 4 feet, okay? And again, let's say 4 feet, 3 inches. I'm just gonna kind of get halfway between the half mark and the 0 to get those 3 inches. It may not be exactly at 3 inches, but it's close enough, okay? So that's how you would get your foot measurement, and then add your inches to that if it needs to go over a certain amount of inches. There's also a regular ruler on here as well for your convenience. And it's marked for some reason with 16. I don't know why, I haven't figured that out yet. But there's only 12 inches on it. Okay, and you use it just like you would any other ruler. The rest of them, there are several other scales on here. Some of the bigger scales you might use would be like the 1.5 inches. That would be if you're drawing something like a foundation detail, something that is actually small, but you're going to draw it a lot larger so that you can see it. And this one, again, this is an 1.5 inch scale. Between here and here equals 1 foot, but it's actually in real measurement, it is 1.5 inch. Okay, so from here to here, you see that? There we go. So from here to here is 2 feet. This marks 1 foot, and it actually belongs to the 3-inch scale that would be read from right to left instead of left to right. This one is easier to get more accurate. Okay, and when you're drawing things that are actually smaller than the house itself, it makes sense to try and make them a bit more accurate. So let's say, this is 1 foot from here to here, and each one of these tick marks represent, let's see, those are 1, 2, 3, because the longer ones are actually 1 inch. The ones between those, that's 1/2 inch. So each tick mark represents 1/4 inch here. So I could actually draw something 1 foot, 3 and 1/4 inches, just like that. Okay, and then I come to this little point right there. And it may not be perfectly accurate, but it's close enough in this case. Okay, we always want to be as accurate as we possibly can, or as precise as we possibly can. That's what I really wanted to say. But there are some allowances, especially when you're, pencil drawing by hand on paper. Once we get into computers, of course, we can get an exact measurement. We don't have to guess at it or anything like that. We just type in the measurement, and there it is, and we get very precise measurements that way. All right, thank you very much. If you have any questions, please ask.